For this video, we are going to be discussing domain and range. So in order to discuss domain and range, we first have to talk about what a relation is. And a relation is just any set of ordered pairs. Okay, it's anything that relates one number to another. And we can show this in a bunch of different ways. One we can show it is just this, a set of ordered pairs. Okay, so I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can show it as a graph, okay, of just some points, like this point, 1, 2. I've got this point over here, like 2, negative 2, and so on. And then I could also show it in a table, like I have over here, this XY table. And a relation is always going to have an set of X values and a set of Y values, okay? And that's what we're going to be discussing today, the names for these X and Y values. All right, so let's take a look at what we call these. So here I've got a table, and I've got input and output on here. And you could ignore the days and dollars thing. This was from a word problem. This is X, and this is Y. Okay, the tables are always going to look like this. It's always going to be X here and Y on the left or on the right. The domain, that's a key word that you want to know. The domain of a relation is just the set of all of the X values in the relation. So if I want to find, say, the domain of this set of numbers, just write it this way. D for domain equals all of these X values. 1, 2, 4, 6, 9, 11. There we go. That's all there is to it. That's the domain. It is the set of the inputs, the set of the X values. The range is the set of all the Y values of a relation. It's just all of the outputs. So if I want to find the range, I just write R equals, and then I put all of the Y values, 15, 20, 30, 40, 55, and 65. And that's all there is to it, really. The domain is just all the X values. The range is just all the Y values. And that's really all there is. So let's take a look at some examples of this. It says find the domain and range of this relation. Okay, well, every ordered pair looks like this, X, Y. And we know the domain is all of the X values. So all I have to do is I have to go through here, and I go, well, there's one of them, there's one of them, that's an X value, that's an X value. So my domain is just this set, 1, 5, 12, 14. Okay, that's the domain. It's just all of, I'm sorry, I don't know why I put 14, it's actually 22. The domain is just all of the set of ordered pairs, or I'm sorry, all the set of X values. The range, well, the range, that's just all of the Y values. So I just do the same thing, except now I'm looking at the Ys. 3, 7, 14, and 23. And there we go. There's our domain, there's our range. All of the X values, all of the Y values. All right, let's take a look at another example. So I'm going to use the graph, and I'm going to find the domain and range of this relation that's shown as a graph. So the domain, once again, we know is just all the X values. So I'm just going to go to each one of these points and figure out what is the X value. So here I've got negative 2. You notice that both of these points have an X of negative 2. Well, I don't have to write it twice. I just write it once, okay? There's no reason to write it twice. So I've got negative 2. Here I've got 0 for an X value. Here I've got 1 as my X value. And here I've got 3 as my X value. So my domain is just negative 2, 0, 1, 3. For the range, I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, I'm going to start at the lowest. I'm going to move my way up top. My range right here, negative 3 is my Y value. Right here, 1 is my Y value for both of these points. Once again, I don't have to write it twice. Up here I have a Y value of 3, and up here I have a Y value of 4, because I've got the points -2, 1, -2, 3, 0, -3, this is 3, 1, and this is the 0.14. So you notice I just took all of my x values from these ordered pairs and put those in the domain, and all of the y values from these ordered pairs and put them in the range. And that's all there is to it. All right, so this one says, using the table, find the domain and range. Well, this is actually super, super easy. We know the domain is all the x values, so there we go. There's my x values. That's the domain. I know my range is all the y values, so there we go. Okay, put some commas between these. There's the domain, and there is the range. Pretty easy. But, you notice, domain, I don't have any repeats. Range, I do. I wouldn't have to write -2 more than once, but it's no big deal. Domain is just all the x values. Range is just all the y values. So, now you should be able to go ahead and do this on your own. Your try-it problem is simply to answer the question, what are the domain and range of this relation?